Get the cheese to sickbay. The doctor should look at it as soon as possible.
Welcome back to the shipyard and get the cheese to sickbay. Today we're talking about Borg upgrades, the specific Borg symbol of upgrade. It's going to be something a little different. These specifically are going on Borg ships, plus the assimilated vessels, plus anything that you work with Borg Alliance, but for the most part, these are going on Borg vessels. So we have a pretty good means of judging their true effectiveness without a lot of cross-faction play, without much of anything else. For the most part, I like what's here, but they're kind of expensive. First up, we have Borg Ablative Hull Armor. This comes in at a whopping 10 points. It's non-unique. When defending, convert all of your opponent's critical hit results into hit results and place all the damage cards that your ship receives beneath this card. Once there are 4 damage cards beneath this card, discard this upgrade and all damage cards beneath it. All excess damage affects the ship as normal. So essentially this is 4 durability for 10 points, which is a reasonable trade-off. Normally that would cost you 8, but then it's also crit to hit conversion for that one round where you lose the Borg Ablative Hull Armor. And that's reasonable. I like the effect. I like what's going on here. I think if we make it 9 points instead of 10, it's perfectly good because it's on par with a Unimatrix shield, systems upgrade type thing. It could even be 8 points and it would be just fine. Next we have Borg ALCOVE. 4-point non-unique action. Add 1 drone token to your captain card. You cannot exceed your captain's starting number of drone tokens. I feel like this needs to be action add 2 just to actually warrant the action, especially for a 4-point card. Maybe if it's a 1-point card, it can be action add 1. That would be on par with Magnus Hansen, who is a discard to prevent 1. Now, that granted, that's just a one-time effect, but here you're paying an action. You're probably not going to use this a bunch. Yeah, either change the effect, bump up the drones you're getting, or lower the cost. Borg Assimilation Tubules, 8 points. Action, disable this card and discard 1 drone token to target a ship at range 1 to 2. Steal 1 crew tech or weapon upgrade from the target ship. Even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions, place a disable upgrade token on the assimilated upgrade. You cannot steal a Species 847 upgrade with this action. Last part, super thematic, love it, keep it. Action, disable, spin a drone. That's just a little too action intensive. I think instead of disable this card, we put on like 2 time tokens that cannot be redirected. They have to go on this card, period. Action, spend a drone, that's fine. And then target a ship, steal crew tech weapon. Yeah, that's reasonable to me. 8 points, little pricey. I think 5 points, that might be worth it. And we can go from there. Borg Shield Matrix is one of those weird cards, but I like it more than I don't. It's an 8-point non-unique card. Every time your ship's hull or shields are damaged by an enemy ship, place 1 Borg Shield Matrix token on this card, up to a max of 3. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 Borg Shield Matrix upgrade. This upgrade has no effect on a Species 847-2 ship. And if you have a Borg Shield Matrix token, each time you defend, you roll +1 defense die for every Borg Shield Matrix token on your card, and whenever an enemy ship attempts to affect your captain or one of your upgrades, you roll 1 attack die for each token on your Borg Shield Matrix, and if you roll at least 1 hit or crit result, the attempt fails and your captain or upgrade is unaffected. And if they had to disable or discard something in order to make the attempt, they have to still disable or discard it. So it's a really interesting card. I like the effect. It's way overpriced, and it just doesn't work in the 50-point rule. Really, Borg need to not be subject to 50-point rule, but still 3-ship rule. So, yeah, that's a whole different discussion for a different day. But it's a cool effect. It gives them a lot of protection against Gul Madred, except Admiral Madred. Though why it wouldn't work against an Admiral, I don't know, other than the card came out before admirals were in existence, or maybe at the same time. So maybe that's intentional. I don't know. It's nice to get some passive defense dice. It won't make or break you. Yeah, still, to only get 3 defense dice, I think you're looking at maybe a 6-point upgrade. I would say 5, but then it can go on scout cubes, and then you can get ridiculous amounts of defense dice on scout cubes. I guess you could lower it and then just change the point cap on scout cubes taking these Borg upgrades. The Borg Support Vehicle Dock is next. This is a free upgrade. It's unique. The upgrade may only be purchased for a Borg Cube. That's the big, oversized Borg Cube. At the start of the game, place a Borg Support Vehicle token on one ship in your fleet. Action: if all of your ship's shields have been destroyed, you may discard this card and spend 1 drone token to make your support ship active. Place an aux power token beside your ship. Your ship cannot attack this round. Fair enough. The ship also launches when your ship is destroyed, so that's not a big deal. The ship you make your support vehicle token costs 10 less points, or 15 if it's a Borg sphere. Super thematic. And yeah, it just has to be a whole 7 or less ship, which is basically anything that's not Deep Space Nine or another oversized Borg cube. Queen Vessel Prime and the Borg Tactical Cube are both too big. All the ships, basically. I love this. It enables so many cool builds. I think that it's an awesome upgrade, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Borg Tractor Beam. 7.9 unique. Action: target a ship at range 1. Place 1 white Borg Tractor Beam token beside that ship, and the corresponding green Borg Tractor Beam token beside your ship. Alright, what does the Borg Tractor Beam do? A ship with a white Borg Tractor Beam token has to disable 2 of their active shields. If the ship was cloaked, remove the cloak token and raise all shields except 2. While they have a Borg Tractor Beam token, they cannot raise their shields or cloak. During the planning phase, the owner may not select a maneuver whose speed is greater than 2. And at the end of the activation phase, if a ship is no longer within range 1 of the ship with the corresponding Borg Tractor Beam token, then you remove the Borg Tractor Beam tokens. Essentially, this is a, hey, you slow down. And it's also the only way to make Borg Cutting Beam work. But it's 7 points to essentially disable 2 shields. It's way overpriced. Way overpriced. This should be like a 3-point upgrade, because it only works at range 1. And I'm fine with it only working at range 1, because of the way that it works with, if you're not at range 1 at the end of the round, then you lose it, and that's totally fine. But you can't have something like that cost 7 points. It just doesn't work in today's Borg game. Lower the price on it, and then maybe it sees some play. Dispersion Field is a 2-point unique card. It has errata. So what Dispersion Field actually says is, while this card is deployed to your ship, none of your other upgrades can be affected by your opponents. Discard this card after it protects another upgrade. In addition, you may roll your full defense dice in spite of the presence of an opposing ship's scan token. Really good card. Needs to cost more than 2 points. But I'm not in the habit of raising things, other than to say, this is good. We don't need to fix it. They need to clear up rulings on how this card really works. So I'm going to move on to Hive Mind. 1 point, non-unique. Action: disable this card and any number of your other upgrades. Add 1 drone token to your captain card for each card you disabled with this action, including this card. You cannot exceed your captain's starting number of drone tokens. You cannot deploy more than 1 Hive Mind Borg upgrade to any ship. See, this is what Borg ALCOVE needed to be. And I understand Borg ALCOVE doesn't disable, but Hive Mind does it better. Hive Mind's a great card. For 1 point, that's exactly what I look for in a 1-point card. While not fantastic, it's 1 point, and I can't argue with it. Interplexing Beacon, 3 point, non-unique. When attacking a ship at range 3, during the modify attack dice step, you may disable this card and spend up to 2 drone tokens to reroll a number of your attack dice equal to the number of drone tokens you spent with this card. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 interplexing beacon. Okay, if we're going to insist that this only works at range 3, which interplexing beacon long range, keep the thematicism, sure. Then I want to get rid of the disable, and I want to say spend 1 drone token to re-roll any number of your attack dice, and then no ship may be equipped with more than 1 interplexing beacon. That to me is a legitimate 3-point upgrade, because it only works at range 3. You've got to have a Borg captain for your Borg drone tokens. But then you're only spending 1 for essentially a target lock, but a very situational target lock. And I'd be okay with that. Maybe even that needs to be a 2-point card. At least it keeps the basic thematicism of what this card is trying to do while still making it playable. Neural Link. 3-point, non-unique. Action, discard this card to target all friendly Borg ships within range 1 to 3. Rearrange the current drone tokens on all of these ships any way you want. You must have the same total number of drone tokens between the ships. You cannot exceed the captain's starting number of drone tokens on any of these ships. I like rearranging, that's cool. But I'd like to get a little something extra because I'm doing this as an action and I'm only doing this once the entire time. So even if I'm getting 1 extra drone token, I think that's worthwhile and not too powerful for a 3-point upgrade. It's rare that you're going to do this. You're looking at probably something you're only going to run in a big Borg fleet. But to do it in a pinch when you need that extra drone token to make something work, especially when you've got some very worthwhile captains, some tactical drones that do the rerolls, the feedback tactical drone, certain captains that need drone tokens, certain abilities that need drone tokens. This would be nice, and to get even 1 extra in that pool of shuffling around, I think it would be worthwhile. Alright, regeneration sequencers. 5-point, non-unique. Whenever one of your upgrades is discarded, repair 1 damage to your hull. Or, you may discard this card and spend 1 drone token to repair up to 2 damage to your hull. I actually really like this card because it's passive repair for 5 points. And if you build in such a way that you're discarding other upgrades, then you're going to live a very long time. Regeneration Sequencers is not a card for every build, but in the right build, it does some really, really good things. I like this card a lot. I don't think it needs to be changed. We're good there. Scavenged Parts. 2-point non-unique. Whenever one of your upgrades is discarded, add 1 drone token to your captain card. You cannot exceed your captain's starting number of drone tokens. You cannot deploy more than 1 Scavenged Parts Borg upgrade to any ship. Okay. Again, another nice passive ability. To get passive drones back, though, I think it just needs to be a 1-point card, not a 2-point card. This isn't going to happen forever and ever and ever. You don't have that many upgrades. 1 point, so much better than 2 for something like this. Transwarp Conduit, 6-point non-unique. Action, discard this card to remove your ship from the play area and discard all tokens that are beside your ship except auxiliary power tokens. During the end phase, place your ship back in the play area. You cannot place your ship within range 1 to 3 of any enemy ship. This upgrade may only be purchased for a Borg ship. Yeah, it's a slightly worse warp jump. Nice in that it works during the activation phase instead of start of combat, so that's good for certain timing, but bad that it takes an action. The only thing I might add is that you could do this as an action even while you're on auxiliary power. I still feel like that is thematic to the episode. This is the episode with lore and the drones. That's where we get the Soong type assimilator. So I don't think that that would be way overpowered, especially given Warp Jump is a 4-point non-unique and doesn't take an action. This just having to declare a little earlier, but also having to pay 2 more points for it, I think that could be the thing. It's that or this needs to go down to a 3-point card to balance out with the cost of warp jump. Transwarp signal, 4-point, non-unique. Discard this card to target a ship anywhere in the play area. Remove 1 token, evade, battle station, scan, or target lock from beside the target ship. If you remove a target lock with this token, remove the corresponding target lock token as well. Place an aux power token beside the target ship. This upgrade may only be purchased for a Borg ship. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 transwarp signal. This upgrade has no effect on a species 8472 ship, and since there's absolutely no timing there, it can only be done between phases. This was the card that caused that ruling. The most common time you're going to see this is between the activation phase and combat phase to get rid of tokens, but you might see it a little bit between planning and activation to give a ship an aux, even if they don't have a token to remove, because you don't have to do all of the card to do some of the card, and that's a neat trick. For 4 points, since it no longer works as that instant do it, take their token away, I don't think it's worth 4 points anymore. I think 3 points is the sweet spot on this card. So just a little tweak makes it a lot more playable, but it is non-unique, so 4 points can still be justified. Alright, our last card, Vinculum. 5-point non-unique. Action. Disable this card to repair 1 damage to your hull or shields, or action, disable this card to target your ship and every friendly Borg ship within range 1 to 2 of your ship. Add 1 drone token to every target ship's captain card. No ship can exceed its captain's starting number of drone tokens. Alright, action disabled to repair is not nearly as good as what regeneration sequencers gave us, but that does require a discard. But action disable to get back drones is also nice. I feel like this card would just be so much better with time tokens. 2 time tokens to do either one of these things just would work so much better than the disable. Because essentially 2 actions to do either one of these things, it's just not worth it. And you're not going to pay 5 points to only do one of these effects 1 time. So it's overpriced, it's too action heavy, and it just needs time tokens or it needs to cost less, as is. As I was editing, I realized that I forgot to talk about Borg Maturation Chamber. It's a 6-point non-unique card. Action, discard this card to add a number of drone tokens to your captain card until you reach your captain's starting number of drone tokens. You cannot exceed your captain's starting number of drone tokens. My fix for this is very simple. Variable cost equal to your captain's drone token divide by 2. And if you have to round up, that makes it an equal power based on how many drones you're going to get back. But to make it 6 points for 4 drones, or 6 points for 8 or 9 drones, that just doesn't seem right. But if it's half cost, then I think it's about right. So that's my fix for Borg Maturation Chamber. So these Borg upgrades, they're very playable. There's a few that work well, but for the most part, they are an overpriced attempt to balance a faction. When you try to balance a faction by making its upgrades cost a lot, people just don't run the upgrades, and they run the generic ships, and that leads to problems. So hopefully the Octahedron card pack will address some of that and give us some cheaper upgrades. But if it doesn't, you can still run some of these. And a lot of these cards work in your big fun games. So until then, you just gotta run Borg as a lean, mean fighting machine, and they will do good work for you. So thank you guys for watching, and I think next week we'll dive into some Bajoran cards. I don't know if we're going to do ships, captains, do something more like the Ferengi. I honestly don't know. But we're going to address something with Bajorans. So yeah, thank you guys for watching again, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.